more from him first up, obviously, but he just needed the run. He's not a 1,200 metre horse these days as a 6-year-old. 1,400 second up, the horse with the run under the belt. I think going forward here, he's going to run boldly.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty much spot on for his first up assignment, but obviously, as Ronnie just mentioned, 1,200 metres, a touch short for him at his age, first up into the campaign, and you can see that he's taken marginal improvement moving forward, but it does look as though he's very well placed against a few of these first up contenders.
Number 2 is Think It Over. James Innes takes the ride with Brenton Avdulla out for the day. Kerry Parker, the trainer.
Yeah, we've got a great opportunity for James to ride another Group 1 winner here. So 2 trials are nice. He's a giant killer. He's surprise winning first up last preparation. Then he won the rider. His trials are great. He maps perfectly. But you're not getting the price you usually get about him today. He's very well fancied.
He's a mature horse, isn't he? He's beautifully turned out. I still think that there's a bit of improvement in him moving forward, but he does look as though he's extremely well placed, prepped up nicely, and again, he should be right in the finish in this race.
And those colours are very similar. They're not the same, but they're very similar to the colours of Natoya that he won the Doncaster on. Cascadian, speaking of Doncasters, number 3, Hugh Bowman and James Cummings.
Well, he's had the 119 days off. He's had 1 trial, 1 jump out. He found his mojo there, winning the Doncaster Mile, and he backed it up with the all-age stakes place getting. Look, he loves Randwick. He's good, fresh, and he's well fancied.
Yeah, looks forward as well, which is always the same with him. He's not an overly big or robust horse. He's quite lightly famed. He doesn't carry a massive amount of condition naturally. So to see how he presents today is pretty much normal for him. He's got a bit of improvement in his coat like a few of these others. He's early on in his campaign. That's to be expected, but he looks pretty much spot on for today.
Dream Force, number 4. Andrew Atkins is the rider for John Thompson.
He's had his 2 trials since the all-age stakes. He loves the horse. He loves control, this horse, and I think the outside draw is good for him, where he can just take his time getting across. Loves the track and distance. Look, he's a winning chance if things fall into place. I keep forgetting he's a 9-year-old now.
I've seen him pretty much carbon copy of how he's presented first up into the campaign before, and that's exactly how he looks and he is today.
Imaging number 5, Kathy O'Hara for Chris Waller.
70 days, 1 trial in Queensland. He was close up in the Stradbroke, this horse. He's very good, fresh. I cannot say no to him.
He looks ready to go.
OK, they're going out pretty quickly here. Star of the Seas, we're going to pick up going through the tunnel. Jay Ford, Chris Waller.
Yeah, 133 days off, no official trial, but they may have had these jump outs at Rose Hill with this COVID situation and the track jockeys and whatever. So he's a good competitor, great in this race last year. No guide to how he's going, though, with the no official trial.
Well, having a look at him down the back and in here, I thought he looked forward enough and ready to go today. Obviously, that suggests that with them going forward or electing if they can go forward with him, and he looks as though he's pretty much spot on fitness-wise.
K.I. Nautique, number 7, Matthew Smith, Glen Boss.
Yeah, Japanese import with 3 trials. I'd watch for future reference today, but he looked all right.
Yeah, looked as though he was ready to go today, but I still prefer a few others.
OK, following the Japanese horse out as Master of Wine, Regan Bayliss for Team Hawks.
Yeah, he 2 trials, expecting a good run fresh. Look, later on over further, just keep an eye on him for today.
Yeah, always gets a little bit full of himself and buzzed up prior to racing, but he seemed to be keeping it reasonably together today. You can see he's just slightly on his toes there.
There's Brandon Berg with the clerk of the course, number 9, Rachel King, John Sargent.
Yeah, he's only had the 70 days off since Queensland, and he was good at the end of last prep, and I thought with residual fitness, tactical speed, I think he's one of the better long shots.
He's retained a lot of his residual fitness, you can see that, but he does have a bit of improvement in his coat to come, so that's the only question mark I had.
Mount Popper, number 10, Josh Parr for Team Hawks.
Yeah, he's got the makings of a very good horse, this fella. Nothing would surprise, although he hasn't won under 2,000 metres, but he's just too good a horse, I think, with potential to completely pen here.
Yep, exactly right. Look, he's another one who's nice and fresh and full of himself because he's got to be over further in time. So I thought he looked great down the back, and you see him walking out, he's just a bit warm down his neck area.
OK, Mwanga's going out. Tommy Berry, Annabelle Neesham.
Well, we know he's a class horse. He's a young horse. He's a Group 1 winner. I thought he was a bit rusty at the trial, so I'd rather watch him today.
I think he's developed beautifully in the break. I was expecting him to get that little bit more physically stronger, and he seems to have ticked that box.
And there she is, Very Elegant. James McDonald, another one for Chris Waller.
Yeah, well, you got the $4.60 if you wanted it. I knew it was going to come. They're all potting her today. All I know is you don't pot a champion. Hopefully she can be within 3 lengths of them to turn. And I don't care if it's wet, dry or in between. She's still going to be in the finish.
Yeah, one of the best parades that I've seen of her. I thought she looked absolutely magnificent the way that she presented today. And she's going to be very hard to beat.
She's ideal. The stayer, Bjorn Baker and Jason Collett.
Yeah, not later on for her. She's won a trial, but she's a nice progressive staying mare. Who knows where she could head.
Yeah, looks a lot stronger this time around again, so she's in for a great prep.
And the very talented Hungry Heart, a dual Group 1 winner, Karen McAvoy on board for Chris.
Very interested in what Lizzie has to say about this mare. She's been very well looked after, and now she's resuming off a far lap Viner in Oaks win. She could be the next Very Elegant.
I thought she presented beautifully. She's developed again in the break, and she's one of those horses that's in for a great preparation ahead of her. Whether this is her race is questionable, but I think that she presented well.
Great race, great field, a lot of eyes, the majority of eyes on Very Elegant today, this 8-time Group 1 winner. You've got 5 in the race, Chris, but obviously she's the star of the show. How is she?
Very well. Yeah, she's come back as a mature horse in the last 12 months. In each preparation, she's steadily built towards her grand finals, but fortunately she's got enough class to be competitive first up as well.
Hungry Heart steps into the big time now, Wait for Age.
Yeah, and as Ronnie was saying, can she take the next step? She was a great horse in the autumn and winning those Group 1 races, and now here she is taking on the older horses. So good starting point, and it'll start to give us a guide as to where she heads in the spring.
And your other 3 hard heads, Colding, Imaging, Star of the Seas, they've been around in this company many times.
Yeah, this is normal racing for them, and they've been featuring in the photo finishes of a lot of Group 1 races, and I can't fault any of them. They've all been well prepared. I know there's been a lot of private trials, but the ATC and Racing New South Wales have done a great job to allow us to be able to basically do what we want to try and get these horses fit and in good condition, and here we are putting on a good and responsible show for the audience.
She's the best horse. Is she your top pick?
Oh, 1400 is a slight concern. I'm always a little bit conservative, but you just can't underestimate Wait for Age horses and horses getting the right runs. Look, if the race was run perfectly for Very Elegant and she's within 3 lengths of them turning for home, she'll outfight them. But she's going to be out of her comfort zone sprinting over that distance.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Chris Waller, who's won 6 Warwick Stakes, Wink Stakes, and now it's time for the pick of the yard. What does she come up with? Lizzie's pick of the yard brought to you by Arrowfield, celebrating Castelvecchio's first foals in 2021.
Well, I can only come up with a horse that looks the best, and that was Very Elegant. I thought that in comparison to how I've seen her in the past, I said it last preparation, I think she has come back again, just looking absolutely fantastic. And if she gets her own way, where there's plenty of pace on and she's able to settle, she'll finish over the top of them, and I have no doubts about that. So looking forward to seeing how she performs today, but whatever happens, she is in for a fantastic preparation. I really like the look of Think It Over as well. He goes into the selections. He's a fully mature horse now. He's doing everything correct as he was walking around the yard, and he looks as though he's in really good shape. And I'd have to say Mwanga, he's come on beautifully from the break, and who says he can't run really well over the 1400 metres fresh.
I'm 12, 1, 14 and 9. Just watching McDonald canter around the barrier just shows you how much love he's got for this mare. He was kissing her, he was cuddling her, he was patting her. Hopefully she can find a position here. I know Chris didn't sound overly confident there with not being a grand final, but she's just a champion mare, and she'll savage the line no matter what happens. I'm got to be with her, getting a $4.60, a champion mare like her. You know what you're going to get, a great run. Colding, I think he'll improve dramatically. Hungry Heart, I'm very wary of her, just ambushing late here. Best of the long shots, Brandenburg. You can make your own mind up. But if she looms up, well, I don't know if you'll hear much of a cheer here, but in every lounge room in Australia, I'm sure they'll give her a cheer. 12, 1, 14 and 9. Glenn?
Yeah, and in every corporate bookmaking office in the country, they'll be searching for a packer-whacker because have a look at those totes, 370, 390, 380. She's got to 440 with us. She's currently a $4.20 chance. The NOP's 440, but I think it'll probably run closer to 420 than 440. Colding, very, very steady right throughout the day at 650. He's moved between 6 and 650 and basically no better all day. Cascadian and Think It Over at 7 7 a pair. Think it over a best of 750. Cascadian a best of 850. They're the single figure runners. Mo'unga, he got out to as much as 11. He's now a $10 chance. Hungry Heart, she's at a best all day now of $15. Imaging, 19, got into as short as 14, is now 15. Mount Popper's been the best firm all day. As we have a look at one, just having a look at a shoe there, that looks like the 11, Mo'unga. And Mount Popper 34, the best all day, now 17. Brandenburg 34, the best all day, as short as 17 as 19. Dreamforce 16, got to 21 as 19, and then a big gap to Star of the Seas and others at $34 and longer. But she's been favourite. She was always going to be favourite. It was just a matter of what price she was going to be. I'm talking about Very Elegant. She's $4.20 with tab here for the running of the Wink Stakes, and 3 other runners in single figures. Colding, $6.50, Cascadian, and Think It Over at 7 a pair. She won the race last year, Greg. She was dominant, sitting wide, and ran away from them. She's drawn inside this year. Where will she be in the run?
Well, they're over behind the gates, and we're waiting on Mo'unga to be replated. This race named after Winks. When she first won it in 2016, it was the Warwick Stakes. It's renamed in her honour, and 2 of her most famous victories came in this particular race. In 2017, remember that day when she missed the start by 4 or 5 lengths and had to chase them down and get up in the last stride, although it was easy in the end. And in 2018, she won her 26th race in a row, which broke Black Caviar's record of 25 wins in a row. Black Caviar remained unbeaten at 25 where it stopped, but Winks kept going to make it 33 in a row. But she won her 26th in this race in 2018. She won it 3 times. Kingston Town won it 3 times. Very Elegant's trying to win it for the 2nd time. What about that price, Ronnie?
Yeah, so we'll find out in the bookies. The bookies have been pretty well right all day, taking on these favourites. They've got a strong lead over the punters. I think that'll disintegrate if because they've laid her over the gap here. Very Elegant, because she's a public favourite. I'm sure she'd be holding money. Every $100 punter and $50 and $20 and $10 punter in the world would be on her. But the pros are opposing her, so that's always a worry, and we can see why. But I've learned not to oppose champions, and I know there's a lot against her today, but I'd love to see her, cruising up 3 deep with cover here, peeling off them, straightening up 3 lengths behind them. I'll know what I'll be wanting to do then.
She's won 8 times at Group 1 level, Very Elegant, trying to make it 9 here today and back-to-back Wink Stakes. Looks like Mo'unga jockey Tommy Berry is back in the saddle. So we've only got a couple out for our first Group 1 of the season. $500,000, weight for age. This is the Wink Stakes.
Twice a winner at the 1,400 metres when he won his maiden at the Gold Coast and a benchmark 64 at Newcastle, Mo'unga. And he goes in. Here's Cascadian, Hugh Bowman in the saddle. And looking for that magic number today of 100 Group 1 wins. Teaming up with James Cummings. The light's on now, and we're ready for the Wink Stakes of 2021. Gates are back, they're off, and Dreamforce hopped out brilliantly. Dreamforce is going to lead without any issues. Brandenburg is pretty handy. Looks like Star of the Seas is there. And Colding going forward as well. Imaging handy on the rails. Very Elegant's not in a bad position early, although she might be caught a bit deep here from Mount Popper and Think It Over, wedging between runners. Further back then to Mo'unga from Hungry Heart 𝐖𝐢𝐧𝐱. Back in the field, Master of Wine on the outside of Cascadian, and she's ideal as last. Dreamforce leads comfortably now for Aikens, out by a length on Brandenburg. Star of the Seas is punching through on the inside. A length further back to Colding, and Very Elegant in a 3-wide position and stuck there. And James just allowing the mare to slide even closer now. Further back to Imaging. Mo'unga's got under the mare's back. They're followed between runners to Think It Over, all cluttered up. Master of Wine deeper out in the Gold Cap as they come up to the turn, and Think It Over's buried in the ruck as they turn. Dreamforce turns the corner in front by a length and 2.5 to Brandon Berg. Now McDonald rouses along the great mare, Very Elegant. Mawunga's a half length away, then Star of the Seas _Colding. Down to the 200, Dreamforce still the leader. Coming through the middle is Brandon Berg. Mawunga, Very Elegant. She'll really have to lift as Mawunga put the head in front. Very Elegant's trying to fight back. There's a swarm coming late. Cascading right down the outside, but Mawunga's won it. Mawunga, I think's beaten Very Elegant. There's been a fall here. I'm just got my concentration off who's run third there with 𝐖𝐲𝐬𝐧𝐱 and She's Ideal, Hungry Heart Colding. Then came Cascadian, Dreamforce, Mount Popper, Master of Wine, Star of the Seas, and right, Brandon Berg, Rachel King.
Yeah, Darren is as confused as all of us because it happened so quickly. I don't know how it happened. Rachel King came down 60 metres before the line. The Dr. John Saxon is with her immediately. She's trying to get up and Dr. John is pushing her back down, saying, lay down, don't you move. But she wants to move. She wants to get up. I think in the same case as Brenton Avdulla, she was knocked out as well, but Dr. John Saxon is with her right now trying to keep her stabilised, but I can see Rachel trying to get to her feet. Now, back to the Group 1 win. It's number 11. It's Mawunga. Tommy Berry and Annabelle 𝐖𝐢𝐧𝐱. This is the horse that gave Annabelle her first Group 1 victory in the Rosehill Guineas. Tommy Berry was on board that day. Since then, Annabelle's gone on to win a Doomben Cup with Zaki. She makes it Group 1 win number 3 now in her career. And what a rising star of the training ranks she is. Tommy Berry chalks up Group 1 win number 34. 11 Mawunga. 12 Very Elegant. Game, how do you describe class? She's every bit of it. 13 She's Ideal. The stayer has run third. And number 7, the Japanese import, 𝐖𝐲𝐬𝐧𝐱, will get fourth. 11, 12, 13 and 17, Duff.
Well, he might have turned into a man because you're looking at his trial, you'd think there's a heap of improvement to come. So the sky's the limit for Mawunga wherever they want to head, because he travelled on Very Elegant's back there and he just pounced there late. He was really, really good. She was great, Very Elegant. She was in for the fight. Beautiful ride, I thought. He gave her every opportunity to win considering how that race was run. She's Ideal. Wow, who expected that one? Good luck if you got this first 4 because the Japanese horses run 4th there, but Mawunga, the boys become a man.
Annabelle 𝐖𝐲𝐬𝐱, this has been an incredible 12 months. A Rosehill Guineas, a Doomben Cup, and now she wins the Wing Stakes with a very talented horse, Mawunga. You'll never forget this guy.
Oh, no, I'm emotional actually. I think he looked the winner a long, long way out, but when he came up outside Very Elegant, I knew he was going to be in for a tough battle because she's such a fighter as well. But he's improved a hell of a lot from 3 to 4, and I was really confident looking at him in the parade ring today because I just thought he looked quite fit. And just a massive well done to the team. Obviously, we're doing it a little bit tough out at Warwick Farm, and I have to give Joel Butler a bit of a shout out. He rides this horse every day, and he was desperate to trial him, and I said, you can trial him if you go on a diet. So he did, and yeah, it was a superb ride, so thank you to Tommy.
I know he had the drop on Very Elegant, but if you want to really break that win down, he beat Very Elegant. He out-toughed her to the run to the line, and we know how good she is.
Yeah, he did. I think he's in for a great prep. I don't know where we'll go now, but I think we're going to have a fun spring.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Good on you. There's Annabelle 𝐖𝐲𝐬𝐱. Okay, 11, 12, 13 and 7. We will have the latest update from Rachel King. As I mentioned before, I saw her trying to get up off the ground, but Dr. John Saxon was making her stay put until the ambulance officers got to her. Unfortunately, Brandon Berg has suffered a major injury. More news on that. And Rachel King, we will keep you updated. We'll break into our programming as soon as we have news on Rachel.
Okay.